and an overview. So what is behind these 40 steps? It is interesting to uh, understand. We want to realize the real self that is all pervading, that is eternal, that is truth, that cannot be modified. So, how it is possible without having a 360-degree understanding? That real self is present here, there, in all the locations. So I should have an understanding of 360-degree understanding. Now, this understanding is prevented by the desires. Desires is localized, it is limited. Any desire in the world is localized, limited. So it limits the mind. And it limits the mind. And then we have the impurities of the mind. So that is why we talk a lot, every master talks a lot about desire fulfillment and self fulfillment. It is that real self, all pervading fulfillment, permanent peace fulfillment. So if you break up this desire fulfillment, pleasure fulfillment, pleasure hides the pain. So that is why every master says desire is the main enemy of this self fulfillment. So now, but I have to live my personal, professional, social, family life. And there are desires to be fulfilled. So then the master says, you should understand a desire and the need. So the need-based desire has no problem. I have an urge, I go to the restroom. I'm not attached to the coffee and still I find, oh, let me have a cup of coffee or a glass of water. Everything is good. Let me buy some clothes for my office or for my home. Everything is good. But when the need becomes the desire, when I want to derive the pleasure from it. So my mind, I raise, I purify the mind, I check it is a need-based desire or it is a pleasure-based desire. So that is why every master talks about desire fulfillment. So we have to understand the desire fulfillment. Then what the master says, you are living a personal, professional, and social life. So okay, find out the need-based desire in your personal, professional, and social life. Continue to make an effort, continue to work, and continue to even get the pleasure which is not binding. So what happens? What is the main message behind it? You have to strike a harmony in the external life. What do you mean by the harmony? Nothing in the world outside during your interaction. You are living your personal, professional, social, family life. Nothing in these lives causes you any distraction, any reaction, any blame, any complaint. That is the meaning of the harmony. How it is possible if my sibling or honey or Yes, it is 100% possible. You have to get rid of the binding desire, the pleasure desire from your mind. It is 100% possible. So it means while living in the world outside, my I have to work on my mind. By working on the mind, I check how how this family life can be helpful to me. How it is helpful? I check my pleasure desires, binding desire, and I give a check to it. I see that my thought, my speech, my actions uh, create a harmony. I become a contributor. Whatever the situation is, good or bad, hard or easy in life, it is possible. So uh, all the 40 steps indirectly helps us to strike a harmony in the external life. Yes, there is another possibility. So without striking a harmony, can I reach to my real self? Yes, you are an intense seeker. You can go to the Himalayas and spend the whole life in realizing the real self under a teacher. Yes, it is possible. Even if you have lot of impurities in the mind, but one thing, you have a burning desire to reach to the real self. Burning desire melts away all the binding desires. You have only one desire now. And then you have devoted yourself to the teacher and the knowledge in a monastery. Yes, it is possible. So in both ways, these possibilities are there. If I'm not ready to leave my personal, professional, family life, it is okay. Strike the harmony. So that wise you strike the harmony. Or if you go to the monastery, then there is no problem. You have left your personal, professional, family obligations. Your only job is to study, contemplate, reflect, practice meditation. You get your 3 meals, you get 2 pairs of clothes. That was the tradition. Now that tradition is still present in a couple of the monasteries. Another, striking that harmony. We need to do the karma yoga, we need to do the upasana, we need to perform, we need to constantly reflect on the binding desires and the pleasure desires, and we have to bring it down so that only the need based desires are left. Just before your session, this guy was telling, I said, how is your honey? Oh, she doesn't listen to me. I said, that is your binding desire. So I have to recognize why you are pushing her to listen to you. Why don't your mind listens to this wisdom and understand? Why don't you give a check to your pleasure and binding desire so that you strike a harmony? Your harmony should come from you. Harmony should not be expected from others outside. What should I do? I'm recently, now I'm married, but my honey demands me the sensual pleasure. Oh, so I said, you are full of expectations. You want to meet her expectations or his expectations. You are not looking at your mind, you are looking at her or her mind. So it gives you an idea and understanding of the impure and the pure mind. Your mind is so much obsessed that she needs or he needs. So it is because you have an expectation. So you cannot strike the harmony. And if you strike the harmony, you will see that it is 100% possible. Second, so you see that. So desire fulfillment we discussed, and the self-fulfillment. So the desire fulfillment, I have to strike a harmony. In order to strike a harmony, I have to understand my binding desires, my unbinding desires. I have to understand what exactly is the karma yoga, and that karma yoga should be introduced in my personal, professional, social life. Yeah, there is one problem: emotional dependence. That emotional dependence, that emotional, you can say it comes because of the strong likes and dislikes, attachment and detachment. So I have to shift my mind from the world outside where I'm emotionally attached to God image, to a higher vision. So there are people who have a highest vision. What is that highest vision? I want to see the real self everywhere, all the time. So, without image of the God, without the japa meditation, it can work. But normally, I have seen all the masters have done the japa meditation that we have been doing it regularly. So that japa meditation shifts my emotions to the things and objects outside to inside. So we have couple of the steps in the 40 steps how to how to move from emotional dependence to emotional freedom. You like a shirt in the band, yes, you go and buy it, but internally you are aware. Your thought, your feeling, your emotions, your action is clear. What action you are taking. It is not going to create any impression. Then it is okay. The moment it creates any impression, drop it. So there some of the practices of endurance, tapa, also comes in these 40 steps. So he gives a systematic approach, and he wrote these 40 steps who is already a seeker, who has already undergone these basic understanding and basic steps. So that is why we are understanding what is behind these 40 steps. Now, once we have understood this, then the next question arises, what are those steps by which I can follow and reach to that higher state? So I discussed it, I think previously also. So one is the Mangala Charan that is introduced by every teacher in their text, in their teaching. Then we have 4 connections. Why we have 4 connections? What are those 4 connections? The first connection is the I am a qualified seeker. I know it clearly. So, second is the subject matter, the real self. Third is the result. Result is awakening and realization on one hand, and end of suffering on the other hand. These 3 connections are there, so I have to connect all the 3 through the knowledge via the teacher of clear understanding. So what happens? Why? So once I am very clear about the subject matter, which I normally say that is the goal of your life. So I explain in a little different way, but the basic principles is the same. So what are the goals in life and what are the goals of life? So goal of life is self-fulfillment. Goals in life are temporary. It is what the desire fulfillment. And from the desire fulfillment, then I have a need-based desire fulfillment. So I strike a harmony. So that is how I explain that Goals in life and goal of life. Goal of life means that it is throughout my life. So once a seeker, always a seeker. So I developed that temperament, that attitude that now I am a seeker when I wake up in the morning. So that seeker in my mind reminds me you have to do all those practices. Seeker in the personal life, seeker in the professional life, seeker in the family. So seeker, once a seeker, always a seeker. So the four connections helps my mind to become mature. So I have a mental maturity. Talking to your honey and your mind is irritated, you remind the four connections, irritation goes away, you maintain the calmness, and then you respond in the state of the calmness. It is 100% possible. It is possible. It is possible. So same thing in the professional life, same thing in the social life. One guy 7 or 8 months ago, he divorced. His daughter was learning from me, so she also left. He paid it, and then just after the divorce, he has a girlfriend. It's very easy in America. So once I divorce, so first thing that I start searching is my girlfriend. So now the girlfriend has many mental, physical, and emotional issues. So after attending 3 sessions, he said that I have to solve this problem and then I will attend your session. Very good. 7 months have passed. He attended, then he joined. After joining the 3 sessions, he told me, I am not, what I'm not getting from you. Hence, cancel all my sessions. I cancelled all the sessions. So he started thinking that as if it's an American approach, I should convince him to attend the session. Why should I attend? Your mind is already obsessed with the pleasure outside. You did not realize in the first relationship you could not solve the problem. You entered into the second relationship. There you are trying to solve the problem. Will you be able to solve the problem? Answer is no. Now your mind is already obsessed outside. Yeah, it is not possible. I said, no, I'm okay with me. Please cancel. Thank you very much for attending the session. Why? Because your mind is so much obsessed. You are not clear about the four connections. So once we have 360-degree understanding, then I'm giving you this. Mangalacharan is explained in a different way. Four connections are explained in a different way. Then Mangalacharan, then we go to the fourfold practices, Vivek, Vairagya, Sharak Sampatti, and intense desire, Mumukshu. Now some people have the Mumukshu, the intense desire in the very beginning, and they leave everything. Like my master ran away at the age of the 12 into the Himalayas, and then he got initiated and he continued the journey. There are people. So it is not that the fourfold practices is to help you understand that these qualities are required. So if I talk about my master already had that level of viveka. Nothing outside. I am just devoted to this journey. It is also possible. So we need not to learn academically, intellectually, and follow the practice. And later on, after realization or during the process, he was under the master, he was taught all, no, I already have it. I already have it. At the age of the 16, Swami Vivekananda used to get absorbed into meditation. And we didn't know anything at the age of 16. We had some hormonal changes, we have some sensuality, and we have all the problems of our life. So, yes, it is possible. Both ways it is possible. So, that is why we are trying to learn and repeat. Persistent learning and understanding helps to awaken to, in my life, a new level of Viveka. So, the Mangalacharan is first, then we have 4 connections, then we have 4-fold practices, and then we have 4-fold practices to prepare the mind to become a qualified. So as I progress into becoming a qualified seeker, it ultimately strikes a harmony outside us, indirectly. So it helps. Then what happens? Then we devote more time into the understanding the karma yoga and the upasana. Karma yoga, purification of the mind. Upasana, emotional freedom. So when we have an emotional freedom, mind is naturally focused. So now you see that how many? These are the basic steps, and that has been explained in these 40 steps differently. But behind that, I will remind you, oh, this is what it is. So Mangalacharan is first, 4 connections is the second, 4-fold practices to become a qualified seeker is the third, karma yoga is the fourth, upasana or the emotional freedom is the fifth. So once we have that emotional freedom, then mind is 100% prepared. And at that moment, we introduce these principles, the higher principles. That is explained after the 16th of the 40th step in this journey. And then we are constantly immersed in understanding the nature of the real self, immersed in meditation. Now there is another aspect this is my way of explaining the things. So once you are listening, learning, contemplation and reflection and doing the practice. So meditation practice. So in meditation practice, we understand the 7 different stages of meditation, which is clearly explained by the Patanjali. And every stage there is an awakening. There is a self-knowledge. I have reached to this stage. Now this is causing a problem. So at the 7th stage, last stage is, well, the realization of the self. Now, how come these steps have been discovered and what are the reasons for that? So I collected the teaching from different masters, and those masters says there are 4 fundamental reasons. One reason is the doubt. I have a lot of doubt regarding the validity of teaching. Lot of doubt. Why I have a lot of doubt? Mind is too much obsessed with the external world. You are saying real self, show me, prove it. Prove it means that I should be able to observe, see the color, the shade, the size of the real self. There is no color, shade, and the size of the real self. But the mind returns again and again, and it raises lot of doubts about the validity of this teaching. And that doubt is removed when we understand that knowledge is received by an instrument. So one instrument gives one type of knowledge. My eyes are the instrument of knowledge. It gives me the knowledge of the form and the color. So that knowledge from the eyes is of the form, the shape, and the color of a particular person, thing, and object. It cannot give me the knowledge of the sound. Eyes cannot hear. So we have to be very clear. Instantly, I have to remove the doubt. I'm just giving one example. So the eyes can only have one type of knowledge, ears have another type of the knowledge, all the five sense organs have one type of the knowledge, and the mind is also limited. And what I'm searching? I'm searching the real self, which is all pervading, eternal. So it means I should have a different instrument of knowledge that gives me the entire 360-degree understanding. So what is that instrument? Eastern wisdom. I cannot see the mind, but I can feel the mind. Same way I can understand the knowledge. If we argue that eyes are physical, I'm just giving you for the sake of understanding, we will discuss in detail. So your eyes can see the shape? Yes. It is the physical eye or the faculty of the eye. Sometimes you see that blind people have perfect physical eyes like us, and still they cannot see. So there are two levels, the physical eye, and then there is a faculty of the eye, there is a faculty of hearing, which is connected to the mind and then into the consciousness. What it looks like? You go to the mall, you like a shirt, and you try that shirt. That shirt is your physical body. Your subtle body, with the faculty of these senses along with the mind, enters into this shirt, which is the physical body, which enables you to see, which enables you to feel, which enables you to touch, which enables you to see the form. Are you getting it? So that is why we have a understanding of the physical body and subtle body. Subtle body consists of five sense organs, five motor organs, five pranas, mind, intellect, memory, and ego. So it is that faculty of the eye is present in the mind that wears the shirt of the physical body to see the physical objects. How it is possible, we will also understand. Just give you one example. Then you will understand the rule of the three gunas also. Yeah, one example. What is that? The space, we talk about five elements. So sato guna of space. Sato guna of space gives me the faculty of hearing. You can also correlate with the physics. So sato guna of space. So now you can understand what exactly how the three gunas and the five elements have a permutation and combination. Tamo guna of the space gave the objects of sound. Oh, there's a fan sound. Okay. You're speaking, your sound, my sound. They are the objects. And these objects are created by tamoguna of the space. And what about rajoguna? Action part. I hear. Okay. So that is created by the. Oh, no, I'm listening to you. Yes, yes, yes. So the space, satoguna, faculty of hearing, space, rajoguna, action, rajoguna, space, tamoguna, objects of the sound, any object.
So the form and color, it's tamaguna of vision.
Fire, yes, fire. Fire element with the satoguna, faculty of eyes. Instrument of the action part of seeing, rajoguna of the fire. Fire is the light. And the fire of tamoguna are all the objects that I see. Oh, so any object that I see, it is nothing but the fire tamoguna of the fire element, yes. Now you see. So what is happening? Everything is happening in the five elements. I am independent. I am independent. You are driving a car. The car has a fuel and the engine and the four wheels and the steering. I'm independent. I'm independent.
So concentration, it's kind of rajaguna.
Yes. Concentration in the form of a rajoguna, when the concentration is at the highest level, it becomes a natural focus where the effort is gone. Now it is satoguna. We will talk about it. There are permutation and combination. You can see that everything is happening because of the gunas, yes, and the five elements. I'm doing nothing, yes, you are doing nothing. You are independent.
So stillness in the body during the meditation is tamaguna.
Yeah.
And concentration on the kind of vision of Shiva, it's rajaguna.
Rajoguna, yes. And when what happens now, there is a continuity of the perception of the image of the Shiva. Now what it is, you are not making any effort. It becomes a satoguna. And then what happens? You made a good statement. Now what happens? So that image obviously is the element of tamoguna. Any image.
Yeah.
So yes, but now it is dominated by 99% satoguna and 1% of Shiva image. Then what happens? So you have a peak concentration that rajoguna takes you to the satoguna, and a fraction of an image of the Shiva is there, and then you are absorbed into meditation. The image of the Shiva disappears. Now you actually know Shiva is nothing but the real self. Now it is a pure consciousness. So you see, from the angle of combination, permutation and combination of these three gunas and five elements, it creates your flesh is also a symbol of permutation and combination of three gunas with the five elements. So we will understand that. So that's quite interesting. It came to my mind. So when you start thinking like this, and I'm looking at all the objects through my eyes, it is made up of space, and the tamoguna answer is yes. Action, and now I'm saying I am seeing it. So that I am seeing, that action part is rajoguna plus space. And who is seeing it? The eye, the faculty of the eyes. And this faculty of the eye is created by the five elements and the gunas, yes. And where I am behind them. I am behind them. So in Gita, Krishna says that, these gunas are playing with themselves. Why you are worried? Let them play. So when you claim that I see you, you are wrong. It's the guna playing with themselves. Even you have a understanding of craziness, you have an understanding of pleasure. So we will understand that what exactly is pleasure, how many elements have their permutation and combination, in what proportion. It is also made clear that in what proportion. In what proportion. Half of the satoguna and half of the satoguna mixes with the half of the space mixes with the satoguna. It is the faculty of my hearing. Rest half of the space is divided into 4 parts. Each part combines with other 4 elements. And 1/4 of that combines with the rajoguna. So I have an action part. 1/4 is, very interesting. So because, people simply talk of these gunas and 5 elements, yes, I have understood. No, you have yet to understand in detail. I never raised the question that, yes, if you say that 5 elements and the gunas are combination, then how can I hear? How can I see? How can I smell? How can I touch? I'm talking, so it's a rajoguna. Or I agree with, no. Speech. What is that speech? Tongue. Oh, so sense organ and motor organ has come. So how they are combining? We understand all this. Yes, so now, and so that helps us to recognize that real self is totally independent. Everything is a play of the gunas and these 5 elements. So you have a very clarity. The way we are clear, engine, fuel, steering, wheels belong to the car, not to me. I drive the car, I'm a driver. When I need it, I drive it. When I don't need it, I don't drive it. I don't drive it. Oh, you see, it opens up your wisdom, your understanding. Now see, whatever I have discussed, the 9 or 10 steps, basic foundations to reaching to the state of awakening, and before that I talked about 360-degree understanding. And under the 360-degree understanding, I discussed about that desire fulfillment, self-fulfillment, striking a harmony, and striking a harmony in my personal, professional, social, and family life on one hand. That gives me enough time to the mind to absorb and contemplate and complete the journey. And then I talked about the doubts. Why this is happening? Because I have a doubt about the validity of a teaching of the Eastern wisdom. Another doubt that I have a doubt about, about what I'm going to realize. What I'm going to realize? I'm going to realize the real self, but I don't see real self. I should have a clarity. I should know it. Where is the real self, so that I can make an effort in time and the space to realize it. Forget about it. We will clear your doubt. It cannot be realized by covering a distance. And from there I started asking the question, how long it takes you to reach to your home from the office? 30 minutes. Very good. How long it takes you to reach to your in-laws' house? 20 minutes. And how long it takes you to reach to yourself? There is no time. There is no space. You are already with yourself. How can it take the time? And the moment you have an idea, misunderstanding that it will take some time. Some people answer me, oh, it will take the entire life. So you are the craziest person. I never say them, but fact is that they are the craziest person. They have never contemplated and reflected. So when you start reflecting where I am already here, present here, very much. It doesn't take even a second to be with myself. Even second means that there is a distance and there is a time. So that is why the real self is timelessness. And it is beyond the space. It is always present. So how this understanding, we have a lot of doubts. So, and doubts, sanshaya atma vinashyati. So what is the doubt? Doubt in Sanskrit means it kills your knowledge. So if I have to kill the doubt, I have to gain the knowledge. It's known as shanka. And the third problem, our mind is so much deviated, distracted, projected. It continues to project the pleasure or the pain or the fear or the anxiety in the material world every day. Subconsciously, instinctively, impulsively, by default. So I have to get rid of this distraction. So that distraction is taken care by the karma yoga and the emotional freedom. So I'm just, so you should have a clear idea, oh, this is what is happening. And then comes the ignorance is still left. The primal ignorance, the fundamental ignorance is left. That is another 4 problems are there. We have a doubt regarding the validity of the teaching. First, you understand each and everything and then raise a doubt. I did not understand anything. I have just done one lesson and I say I have a lot of doubt. First, you buy the phone, work on the phone, whether you can call wirelessly or not, then you will raise the doubt. So normally people raise the doubt in the very beginning, so they are non-seekers. So that is why you see the master says, first you become the seeker, then we will teach you. If you are not a teacher, if you are not a seeker, then we are not going to teach you. Or we will continue to teach, listen, see what happens. Maybe by the grace of the God, you may become a seeker and you will learn. You see the entire journey, the way it is designed. I'm just giving you the behind these teachings. What exactly is behind the teachings? How we teachers, how the text, and how the seekers consistently follows the journey and reach to that. So we have 4 doubts: doubt regarding the validity of the teaching, doubt regarding the real self, and then we have projection and imagination, which you can say delusion and imagination, hallucinations. That category has to be removed. And then comes the fundamental ignorance is left. And fundamental ignorance, now what happens? You are listening to the teacher, you have already reached into a higher level, you are already a very higher seeker, and you listen to it. By listening directly, you understand it. That very understanding becomes the knowledge. Knowledge is nothing but the consciousness. You live into that state. So normally people start asking how to remove the ignorance. Now I have told you 3 groups. 360-degree understanding, second group 9 or 10 steps, and the third is the 4 doubts, 4 problems. Problems of the mind are 4. Now all the 3 are summarized by another master, only in a 5 steps. Now you see, that is where the problem comes. When you listen to or read one text from one teacher, then you say there are 5 steps only, you are talking of so many steps. So now see, all the 4 major steps, including all the sub-steps, are summarized. The first step, master says, you are a qualified seeker. Finished. So under being a qualified seeker, you have to You have to undertake a journey. Second step, he uses another word. He says approaching the teacher for a knowledge. So it means you continue to remain as a seeker while approaching the teacher to learn something with all the humility and the sincerity. You are constant intellectual level, you are aware and attentive. There is a sense of emotional freedom. If that is not there, the knowledge will not pass through 100%. So two steps, the seeker is ready. Third step, both the teacher and the student are ready. The teacher is ready, student is ready. That is what is known as Upadesha. Upadesha means teaching. Teaching means here Shravanam. So now you Shravan, you receive almost 90% of what is taught by the teacher. And because it is taught by the teacher, you receive 90%. It changes your perspective of the life, and your mind is inspired to continue for contemplation and reflection and meditation. Practice is the fourth step. Upadesha, after Upadesha, the next step is known as Sadhana. And in that sadhana, it is very clear that maybe you have challenges with the body. So you include the physical asanas also. You have other challenges. You include the breathing. You include the mantra. No issue at all. So sadhana not only covers the meditation, contemplation, but all the other practices. So you see how beautifully he has included Hatha Yoga, Raja Yoga, Tantra Yoga, all the yoga into the fourth step. Did you understand? Yes, I have understood. That real self. No, I have understood that I am not the body. But when there is a pain in the body, I am suffering. What should I do? Do the physical postures. I cannot sit for a longer period in meditation. Do the physical poses. Relax more. So we don't say it is Hatha Yoga, Raja Yoga. We say we have many instruments to take care of. So whatever is required, we give it. That is the fourth step, though it is known as sadhana. And the fifth step is the result. So every time when I follow these 5 steps, every time I get some result. And that result motivates me, inspires me. Going back to Sat Chit Anand and the real self. So now I have been speaking about only the real self, real self, real self. So that real self is nothing but the Sat Chit Anand. Sat Chit Anand is the existence, consciousness and bliss. That is the nature of the real self. Contemplate on that. What to contemplate? One is the individual self. You can say that is the false self or the ego. But let us say it is the individual self mathematical equation. Individual self is equal to body, breath, mind, intellect, ego, plus their actions, plus their perceptions, plus pain and pleasure, plus the impurities of the mind, etc., plus the real self. To simplify, individual self is equal to body-mind complex plus real self. When I say I am an individual, this is my name, this is my profession, this is my problem. So all problems, pleasures, fear, duality, anxiety are all the properties of the mind. So I said individual self is equal to body-mind complex plus the real self. Without the real self, the individual self cannot exist.
And any individual is based on the body.
So when I say individual, because real self cannot be the individual, it is all pervading.
Yeah.
So, and then what is the real self? Real self, it means the individual self. Individual self means what you are now. So we say you become a seeker. So that individual becomes a seeker. Minus body-mind complex. Mathematical equation. Pure mathematical equation. Individual self is equal to body-mind complex plus real self. So the real self is equal to individual self minus body-mind complex. From where have to start the journey? You become a seeker. Understand desire fulfillment. Where lies the desire fulfillment? Individual self. Where you get the desire for self-fulfillment? Individual self. We should be very clear about it. The real self cannot desire that I want to realize myself. So that real self, we come to the real self. So that real self, for the sake of understanding, if I say real self, if I say pure consciousness, it does not clear our understanding. So there is still a doubt regarding the validity of the teaching. So the master says that real self is Sat Chit Ananda. It is existence, consciousness, and bliss. Now, do you recognize the cloth here? How it is made up of? It is made up of thread. So how these threads are stranded together. So we have three threads of Sat plus Chit plus Ananda stranded together. It gives you one real self. So how to understand deeply? From one side we say it is all existence. So that existence we can also name it as God. Sometimes we say it is a pure consciousness. Both are together also. When we say existence, it is also with the consciousness and bliss. When we say Anandam Vai Brahm, one master says Anandam, that permanent state of the happiness is the real self. Yes. So when we say permanent happiness or the bliss or Ananda, that also includes these two threads of existence, because if there is no existence, how can I experience the Ananda?
Consciousness.
It's a consciousness. So Aurobindo gives a beautiful way. He says there is only an existence. So he lays stress on the existence. And then he says existence extends itself to consciousness. And the consciousness extends itself to the permanent happiness. That is why we have Satyadana. Extension. It means it is the same. Extension is just a manifestation. I have an extended monitor. I'm going to Bhavya, so I got a table, what is known as a portable monitor. So it is an extension. Computer PC, you have already seen it. There are two extensions. But the CPU is one. So that is another way to understand Satta Cheta Ananda. So it means I have to work on the mind, understand it. I have to work on the mind. 360-degree understanding. I gave you one topic under many layers. Then we have 9 topics under the sadhana, starting from the Mangalacharan to awakening. Then 4 problems are summarized into 5 steps. And then now we are talking of the real self. where I'm standing, where is my current situation. Still my animal mind returns to me and forces me to engage in pleasure and escape the pain. I still have lot of fears. I have a sense of doubt inside. That is what we have to start. From where we start the journey. We have to understand what is real self. Huh? What are the consequences of following the animal mind? We already know. We continue to suffer. There is no issue at all. I need not to explain it. How can we use the intellect to overcome the animal tendencies? Intellect use the power of discernment, power of again and again, power of viveka, again and again, separate it. So when you separate the cause and effect, you also separate the pain and the pleasure. One topic also comes. One topic also comes in this journey, which is known as dharma. So dharma simply means what holds me. What holds me is the real self. If the real self does not hold this body-mind complex, it will go to the cremation ground. Does not mean the religion. Now, in order to follow the life of the dharma, we have a shreyas in the prayers. We have a shreyas in prayers. What is right and good, I should manifest through my thought, speech, and action. What I like and pleasant, it is adharma. It is opposite of dharma. It is causing you the problem. It is causing you the duality and a conflict and a delusion. Don't follow it. So in order to follow Shreyas, I should think, speak, and act according to the Shreyas. But my thoughts are already polluted. So I have a karma, yoga, and upasana. You see, so more and more every time you listen, so your picture is clear. You have the entire picture is clear that how our masters have explained. Now, these different topics are explained in the different texts. People start learning one text and they do not get a clear understanding. One master in Katha Upanishad, he says that why don't you manage the desire skillfully? He doesn't say leave the desire. And then he explains, he defines the desire. Then he explains, here is a binding desire, here is an unbinding desire. Unbinding desire causes problems, unbinding desire leaves you in the state of the freedom, what you are going to choose. So we are not fighting with the desire. We are understanding it. Even it is either from the sex to having a big house or big mansion or $1 billion. We understand it. Understanding is the key. So that is what managing the desire skillfully. And I already made you clear horizontal movement and the vertical movement. So you see that all the steps, what I discussed today, first is the horizontal movement. Karma, yoga, upasana, all are horizontal movements. And then only you have a vertical movement in your life. And that horizontal plus the vertical movement helps you to reach to that state of awakening. That is